After almost a week-long obstruction by the opposition, the session of the House of Representatives resumed this afternoon. In response to growing calls for resignation for his controversial remarks of involvement of foreign forces in the national politics, Prime Minister Dahal addressed the session to clarify that the scenario was not what it had been interpreted as. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Session of the House of Representatives resumes. Prime Minister Dahal addresses the Parliament, apologizes for his controversial statements regarding his relation with Sardar Pritam Singh. Loan shark victims express grievance of lack of cooperation from officials at the District Administration Office and courts return home after assurance from Home Minister. Government invites flag for returning 15 women headed for foreign employment from Trivandrum International Airport. Highlights on the scenario of women's compulsion to take illegal routes. And Nepali national cricket team led by Rohit Paudel leave for Sri Lanka to participate at the ACC Emerging Team Asia Cup. First match against Pakistan scheduled for 14th of July. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has admitted he made controversial remark as he addressed the Parliament session today and expressed commitment of not repeating such mistake in future. This has paved way for the resumption of the session of House of Representatives that had been obstructed for a week. Based on the agreement reached between CPN Maoist Centre, Nepali Congress and CPN UML, Premier Dahal presented his clarification at the lower house today. This has also silenced the demands for his resignation. The Premier's remark at an event last week suggesting that Sardar Pritam Singh had lobbied with New Delhi for his appointment to the post had met with widespread criticism and calls were growing for him to resign. At the session today, the Premier clarified that his words were misunderstood, but he had felt the gravity of the situation. He also called all concerned to take today's statement as the official one. Premier Dahal clarified that he was always working for national unity and good governance. At the session, lawmakers from Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party had highlighted that consensus among three parties was not enough, calling for the Premier to acknowledge other parties at the Parliament. They also raised question on the role of the Speaker for not letting them speak on the issue. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, who is also the chair of CPN Maoist Centre, has once again been criticised for nepotism following the appointment of his son-in-law, Jiwan Acharya, as the minister in Koshi province. His own party cadres have been raising questions on the Premier's preference of fielding family members and relatives in political positions over those who have made significant contribution to the national politics. During the term of Hikmat Kumar Karki as the Chief Minister, CPN Maoist Centre had sent Durga Chapagai and Jiwan Acharya to the government. Acharya, who is the son-in-law of Premier Dahal, had served as Minister for Tourism, Forests and Environment. Following recent change in the provincial politics, Uddhav Thapa is heading the government. Maoist Centre sent Rajendra Karki and Jiwan Acharya to the cabinet from their party. While Karki is yet to be assigned his ministry, Acharya has been given the Ministry of Financial Affairs and Planning. Meanwhile, chair of the party for Koshi province, Harka Nemwang, has clarified that Acharya was recommended for the provincial cabinet following consultations within the party. Acharya, who has been elected to the Provincial Assembly from Morang, is the husband of Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal's daughter, Ganga Dahal. Prior to becoming a minister, Acharya had served as advisor to the then Vice President Nanda Bahadur Pun. Victims of loan sharks that were in the capital seeking for justice have said they were compelled to bribe the district administration officers and court officials along the process. The group of loan shark victims who came to the capital include those who had been swindled for a couple of thousands of loan to millions. One of them, Sanjeev Kumar Shah from Siraha, had taken 10 million rupees from 4 different people to whom he had to return 16.4 million rupees within 2 months' time of taking the loan. When he reached District Administration Office Siraha for the injustice, the then District Administration Officer Lal Babu Kawari demanded for 900,000 rupees as bribe money to settle the case. However, Shah is now compelled to knock on the doors of Home Ministry as Kawari did not live up to his promise even after receiving the bribe money. At Home Ministry, Shah shared his problem to the then Joint Secretary Phanindra Mani Pokhrel, who held a joint meeting with Shah and CDO Kawari. However, the meeting still led nowhere. The ministry transferred Kawari to Gorkha and now he is serving at the Lumbini Province's Ministry of Internal Affairs. At Mahottari, around 20 victims have presented cases of court officials demanding for bribe money. The victims of loan sharks who had arrived in Kathmandu from several districts have begun returning to their home following assurances from Minister of Home Affairs to address their demands. At today's interaction with the victims, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Naran Kaji Shrestha assured them of addressing their demands. The victims who had arrived in Kathmandu from districts including Dhanusha, Mahottari, Saptari, Siraha and Sarlahi have returned home following Home Minister's assurances. The victims had arrived in Kathmandu with concerns regarding whether or not their demands would be addressed as the ordinance regarding the victims of loan sharks was deactivated. The government has already assured of reviving the ordinance. Moving on, the Central Committee meeting of Nepali Congress that had been stalled for almost 1 year is to begin from Wednesday this week. The meetings are expected to dwell on party president Sherbadu Dewa's leadership, the party's performance at the provincial and parliamentary elections, and potential actions against leader Balkrishna Khand, who is in judicial custody for his alleged involvement in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam. The meeting is also expected to finalize on the dates for the party's policy convention. Grievances against the modus operandi of the party leadership Dewa has been growing in recent time. The party has also not been able to express a clear stance regarding its disgraced leader Balkrishna Khand and give full shape to its sister organizations and departments. The party, during its 14th convention, had announced of holding its policy convention within 6 months' time, which has yet to be determined. Sources say General Secretary duo Gagan Thapa and Vishwa Prakash Sharma are doing legworks to announce the convention dates during the Central Committee meeting. The meeting will also review the government performance so far and discuss on the budget announced by the government for the coming fiscal year. With the rising number of migrant workers, Nepal's remittance has also gone up. Based on the report released by the central bank, until the Nepalese month of Jesta, Nepal has received 1,112,520,000,000 rupees in remittance in the ongoing fiscal year, which is 22.7% more for the same period compared to last year. The number of aspirants that received their labour permit has also risen by 46.6% to reach 459,415. Likewise, 260,262 have renewed their work permits this year. The central bank has reported of improved balance of payment, which is in a surplus of 228,980,000,000 rupees. Last year, during the same period, the balance of payment was at a deficit of 269,810,000,000 rupees. The foreign currency reserves that by Nepalese month of Asad last year stood at 1,215,080,000,000 rupees has also gone up by 21.8% to stand at 1,480,870,000,000 rupees. This, the central bank says, will sustain imports for 9.6 months. Imports have reduced by 16% in the past 11 months. The country imported goods worth 1,480,980,000,000 rupees. Meanwhile, 89,180,000,000 rupees has exited the country for education abroad, which last year was 59,990,000,000 rupees. The government has been criticized after returning 15 women who were on their way for foreign employment from the Trivandrum International Airport. Despite the directive from Parliamentary Committee for allowing departure for foreign employment after the workers-friendly agreement with destination countries, it has yet to be implemented. It has compelled the women to follow illegitimate routes to seek jobs abroad in the absence of employment opportunities at home. 15 women who were set to depart for Jordan under the quota of manpower companies were stopped by the Department of Immigration at the TIA on Sunday. Saying these women did not have working visas, the department returned them despite their selection for the zero-cost program. Following reports of financial and sexual violence against women in Gulf nations and Malaysia, 7 years ago, the Parliamentary Committee had suggested the government to issue permits only after signing women-friendly labour agreements. Rights activists have alleged the government of remaining indifferent to the issues of women seeking jobs abroad. Meanwhile, the government officials have said that work permit cannot be issued against the directives of the Parliamentary Committee. They say complications persist in absence of labour agreement, even with countries that are prepared to ensure rights for the domestic workers equivalent to those in other sectors. The government has prohibited women workers from leaving for Gulf nations. However, the government officials themselves accept that women have been reaching the Gulf countries, including Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, through agents. According to the Department of Foreign Employment, more than 200,000 Nepali women are employed in Gulf nations. Rights activists have said that longer the prohibition exists on women workers from working in Gulf nations, risks of increase in several crimes are likely to increase as well. Now, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in several provinces what should be done to control irregularities at universities. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
पदाधिकारीहरूलाई समयमा नियुक्त हुनुपर्ने हुन्छ
कसरी हाम्रो रहेको शिक्षालाई गुणस्तर बनाउन सकिन्छ भनेर सबैले पहल गरियो भने
भागभण्डाको आधारका नियुक्तिहरूलाई पहिला बन्द गर्नु जरुरी छ
सेमिस्टर वाइज एक्जाम छ नि त्यो एक्जाम 6-6 महिनामा हुनुपर्छ
सैद्धान्तिक ज्ञानको साथसाथै व्यवहारिक पाटोमा पनि अलि बढी ध्यान दिने हो भने
बाह्य सङ्घ संस्था र विश्वविद्यालयहरूसँग सहकार्य गर्दै उहाँहरूको गाइडेन्सहरू प्राप्त गर्दै र उत्कृष्ट स्थितिहरू अवलम्बन गरियो भने
कुलपति नियुक्ति गरिसकेपछि मात्र यो विश्वविद्यालयको के समस्या समाधान हुन्छ
विशुद्ध रूपमा एकाडेमिक सिस्टममा चाहिँ नै यसलाई ल्याएर सञ्चालन गर्नुपर्ने छ
विश्वविद्यालयको पदाधिकारी नियुक्तिदेखि लिएर प्रोफेसरको नियुक्तिमा एकदमै ट्रान्सपेरेन्सी हुनु जरुरी छ
योग्यता र क्षमताका आधारमा पदाधिकारी नियुक्ति हुनुपर्दछ
विश्वविद्यालयले यसमा अब जसो पढाइ अनुसार कोटा निकाल्दिनु के रे भ्याकेन्सीहरू निकाल्दिनु पर्यो
टिचरहरूलाई नियुक्ति गरेर यहाँ ल्याइदिनु पर्यो
शिक्षामा राजनीति हामीलाई कहिले पनि चाहिएन र हामी चाहदैनौँ पनि
प्राध्यापकहरूको पनि एकचोटि विश्वविद्यालय छिर्नुभयो त्यसपछि उहाँहरूको कार्य सम्पादन मूल्याङ्कन भइरहेको छैन त्यो कार्य सम्पादन मूल्याङ्कन कसरी गर्ने त्यसको व्यवस्थितकरण गर्ने हो भने विश्वविद्यालयलाई सुधारोन्मुख गर्न सकिन्छ
Around 1.5 million live in Kathmandu metropolis. Based on World Health Organization's global standards, authorities must provide one public toilet for every 500 persons. However, Kathmandu metropolis has just around 40 public toilets. Metropolis Mayor Balendra Shah, while taking to his post, had expressed commitment of better management of the public toilets. However, that has yet to produce significant results. While taking up office, Mayor Shah had also floated the idea of collaborating with private sector to ensure the public have access to toilets. Several banks, restaurants and businesses came forward to announce that they would open up their toilet facilities to the public. However, these announcements have been limited as a gimmick. Based on a survey conducted some 4 years ago by the metropolis, there were 151 public toilets within the metropolis, including those in temples, government buildings and fuel stations. Since then, only 6 public toilets have been established, and overall the public expressed grievance at the lack of toilets. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we asked you what could be the reason for the loan shark victims repeatedly coming to Kathmandu. 51% voted for option A, party's apathy, 37% for B, weakness of the government, and 12% for C, agreement not implemented. Here's today's question. What should be done to better manage public toilets in big cities? Your options are A, initiative from local level, B, partnership with private sector, and C, pressure from the public. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Kantipur Publications Limited has handed Mahindra car to Dinesh Bhosle, the winner of the lucky draw of Kantipur daily subscribers. CMD Kailash Siroya, Chief Executive Officer Maheshwar and Agni Group's Deputy Director Bardhan Basneth jointly handed over the prize to Bhosle at an event held in the capital. Bhosle had won Mahindra XUV 300 through a bumper luck draw on 12th of April 2022. During the event, KMG's CMD Siroya informed that the handover had been delayed due to prohibitions imposed on import of vehicles due to COVID pandemic. The winner, Bhosle, is originally from India's Maharashtra and had been Kantipur Daily's subscriber since 8 years. A 15-member Nepal's men's national cricket team led by skipper Rohit Paudel has left for Sri Lanka to compete in the ACC Emerging Teams Asia Cup. The Emerging Cup begins in Sri Lanka on Thursday. The tournament, which will be held between July 13 to 23, includes the A teams of Asian Test nations alongside Nepal, Oman and the United Arab Emirates. Nepal, winners of ACC Premier Cup held in May, runners-up UAE and third place Oman had qualified for the tournament. Team Nepal are placed in Group B alongside India A, Pakistan A and the UAE. Nepal play Pakistan A on the 14th of July, followed by clashes against India A on July 17 and the UAE on July 19. The other group includes Bangladesh A, Sri Lanka A and Afghanistan A. Team Nepal does not include Sandeep Lamichhane and all-rounder Deependra Singh Airi. Meanwhile, Arif Sheikh has also withdrawn from the tournament for family reasons. Pawan Sharaf has replaced Arif in the squad. Minister for Youth and Sports Digbahadur Limbu bade a farewell to the squad today. Coach of Nepal women's national football team Ananta Raj Thapa has said that 2 friendly matches against Bangladesh would be important for Nepal's preparation for the upcoming Asian Games. The Nepal women's national football team travel to Bangladesh tomorrow for the 2 friendly matches. Team Nepal are to play friendlies against Bangladesh under their preparation for the Asian Games. The first friendly is slated for Thursday, followed by the second on Sunday. Nepal and Bangladesh are to lock horns for the first time since the previous Women's SAF Championship. Bangladesh had won the SAF with a 3-1 win over Nepal. Organizing a program today, the All Nepal Football Association has bade farewell to the 23-member team. Coach Thapa had announced a 23-member team under the captaincy of Anjila Tumbapo Suppa. 3 players have returned to the squad. Geeta Rana, Anjali Kumari Waiba and Preeti Rai returned from injuries and are set to play in the friendlies. Despite the coaching responsibilities of the team being assigned to Thapa for friendlies taken as preparation for the Asian Games, the National Sports Council has appointed Balgopal Maharjan as the coach for the Games in China. With 3rd successive win, Nepal Police Club have reached near the final of the women's category of the Prime Minister Cup National Men's and Women's Club Volleyball Championship. In the 3rd match of the tournament, played at National Sports Council's covered hall in Tripureshwar, police saw off Army in straight sets of 25-18, 25-12 and 25-18. With the win, police earned 3 points. Army had suffered a 5-set defeat against APF in the first match, while police had seen off Gandaki Province and Everest Volleyball Centre. With today's win, police have 9 points and are placed atop the standings, while they have yet to play Armed Police Force and New Diamond. Meanwhile, New Diamond Sports Club have secured their 2nd successive win in the women's category of the Prime Minister Cup NVA National Volleyball Tournament. In today's match, New Diamond secured a straight set win over Everest Volleyball Training Centre. New Diamond won the first set 25-17, followed by a 25-12 win in the 2nd and 3rd sets. In another match played today, APF saw off Gandaki in straight sets 25-12, 25-18, 25-8. It was the 2nd successive win of the APF at the tournament. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.